Grand Rising family, it's Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study, along with a little bit of his story live. So, this is something that I found basically when I was doing some research on the Lincoln family. It's really intriguing once you find out that his grandmother or great grandmother's name was, we can say Beersheba, Bathsheba. In the documents about his family tree, um, from antiquity, I think around 1800s, they kind of are really give a minimal about amount of information about her. And then I've read other things, historic writings or whatnot, that said that they kind of tried to dim her light a little bit. Um, and my whole thing was just finding out that that was somebody's real name in real life. So, and then it started connecting me to some other stuff that I had been already looking at when it comes to this Abraham Lincoln, and then trying to find the links between that family and Adam or the Adams family. Um, and then also between this family and since they were in like Kentucky and different areas like that, those areas are connected for some reason. And since yeah, Sarah, like there's been some readings that I found about Abraham Lincoln being married to his sister or his half sister Sarah. So it reminded me of the biblical text, but again, I'm trying to get everything together. I ended up buying like an external hard drive so I can start trying to organize my images and my pictures and screenshots, and stuff like that. But I think that what I did was I put out that video. I can't remember. It was the last one that I put out right before this one. And at the end, I showed you guys that image of Poverty Point and about Sarah. Um, I think it was called Sarah's Tomb, maybe. And all of this stuff kind of correlates with each other. The fact that Abraham Lincoln's family owned a large amount of land just north of that Poverty Point. And then I had went back and saw that. Um, it was saying something about the plot of land in the Bible and how he purchased this land. He was trying to get to purchase this land from somebody, in order to bury his wife, because he was saying that he was just a traveler, or he's a foreigner or whatever, and he doesn't have a place to lay his wife. So the people that he spoke to said that he could go ahead and bury her there. But I guess he was trying to purchase the land, and I don't know. I think later on in that storyline in the biblical text, he was maybe able to. But then that reminded me of a story of the first uh, Indian to sell land to a white man. That story was very similar to the biblical text. So again, like I said, their land would be north of this. So I just wanted to read this to you guys just to see if you think that things are kind of strange a little bit. Because if you look in his family story, or his family genealogy, you'll see that a lot of the biblical names match. Even I found something the other night that I'm going to go ahead and start this series a little bit early, because I did accidentally put that out, and I think I spoke on a couple of things, so I don't want to lose that. So it's kind of thrown me into just going ahead and going in on this as much as I can find and share with you guys. So anyhow, a lot of the names and situations, as far as Aaron being the brother-in-law and Jethro being the father-in-law, these names match in their genealogy. So we're just going to go ahead and read this, because again, initially on this channel, what I'm trying to do, okay, is unchain the brain of people by going into the text and pulling out real life instances, so that we can go ahead and disregard that these stories in this text are anything but history or his story of these founding fathers and their people, even the ones that came before them as planters, settlers, or whatnot. Okay, so what I'm doing is telling us that basically, we're pertaining to a sense of God in this biblical text, or the God of creation in Genesis, okay, that all of that stuff may not have happened so long ago. So when we're thinking again about the 7 days, we're saying that those days meant a certain period of time, like the Bible does say. For instance, the seventh day would be the 1700s, and that would be when God could rest because he completed everything. Now, this is when we've got our first president as well, toward the end of the 1700s. So again, I'm looking at this in the fact that I feel in my soul from the information that I've obtained and how I see this is that the God meant, meaning the God of the Bible that was creating things, which was their creation story of them creating a nation on top of a ancient or foreign nation. And some of these people would have been what you may call ancient Egypt, um, Western Asia in America, um, even not Ethiopia, but goodness, what do I want to say? Not Ethiopic, but oh my goodness, there's another one um, that I want to put out would have been something that was already here. Okay. Um, mm, Goodness, it's going to bug me that I can't remember that. But, anyways, we're going to go ahead and read this really quick. Okay. Nubia. Okay. It was going to bother me. Okay. So, I hope that wasn't too much of a break. But Nubia being here, this whole thing about Canaan, I'm not sure if it's talking about Canada, but again, we're just going to go ahead and keep on moving with this. So, this is a post that somebody put up um, in March 2015, and I happened to be looking for some information, and I ended up running across this article. So or this uh, post. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Now, it says Captain Abraham Lincoln. Okay, Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so Captain Abraham Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. Now that might be meant to be written like that, but Captain Abraham Lincoln was Abraham Lincoln's father, or his grandfather. Okay, um, Thomas Lincoln, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not looking at it right now, would be Abraham Lincoln's father. But him and his father never got along. You would think that they weren't even kin to each other. And a lot of things like this are making me starting to speculate some things. Okay. Um, and yeah, there's just a lot going on with this. Um, Now, I think that uh, Captain Abraham Lincoln, I can't remember what his wife's name is, but I don't know if it was Sarah or not. But I know that I think Thomas Lincoln ended up marrying Sarah Bush, something Bush. Again, these families are all intertwined. So if you want to go ahead and think that that might be pertaining to someone kin to the Bush family, you could very well probably do that. But um, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to go through when we're going through this. And to show how they use names and how they use these type of things, you'll notice that even like when it comes to Abraham Lincoln Sr., um, the son may not be a junior, but he may name his son after the grandfather, which would make him a second or a third, or maybe not, but again, skipping a generation. Okay. So, anyhow, a native of Pennsylvania, so I'm guessing that's where he was born, staked a claim on Long Run Creek. And then again, this may be, again, these give these different locations that might be good to look into his story and see what exactly was going on with these uh, certain plots of land and things around that time. Okay. Um, so in 1780, several years later, he moved onto the land with his wife and family. In May 1786, he was killed by Indians. Okay, as he and his three sons returned from working the land. One of those sons, Thomas, okay, so I'm thinking this must be Abraham Lincoln's father, the president, okay, Lincoln, was 10 years old at the time. Tom Lincoln became the father of Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States of America. A historic site on Shelbyville Road near Eastwood tells the story of Lincoln's grandfather and gives an approximate location of his farm on Long Run. Abraham Lincoln's 42-year-old grandfather, Abraham Lincoln Sr., okay, purchased, so then that makes me also think, okay, did he, for him to be a senior, did he also have another son, because usually it would not say senior unless there was a continuance in my eyes. I don't know if that's all the way true, but if he didn't have a son that was called that, like my husband is a junior, because he has the same exact name as his dad. So if he would have had a son, then you would think that he would have been a the third or something like this. Okay. But anyhow, so I'm wondering if he had another son named Abraham Lincoln, and we're just basically gonna just skip over that and talk about Thomas Lincoln, or was Thomas once named Abraham? You see what I'm saying? So like the duality, or having two meanings to the name, or kind of like the straw man today. But I mean, I know that's like your same name and everything, but just okay. But anyways, so I'm wondering why they would be calling him senior again. Like I said, if he didn't have a son named that, like he wouldn't know that later on, if his son was 10, that he was going to have a son and name him that. So in a lot of families, like John Adams, a lot of families did this, skipped over, okay, one generation with the, uh, you know, senior or the third or whatever. So purchased a 400-acre tract near Hughes Station in eastern Jefferson County. Now, you know, let's see, I'm not sure what state we were in. Um, I mean, it's saying Pennsylvania, but um, he moved on to the land. Okay, Shelbyville East. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can just look at this and see where we might be talking about, where this location actually is. In 1780, okay, Jesse. Now, here's another biblical name. So when I'm reading the text, these names start linking up like this. It kind of points me back into the direction, and then helps me kind of look at it in that way. Okay. So Jesse Hughes was born in 17, especially when it's talking about the Old Testament, and we're in the 1700s. Okay. So Jesse Hughes was born in 1767 in Berkeley. Now, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I guess we'll find out. Colorado, wait, Berkeley County, maybe. West Virginia, at a young age, his family went. Now, um, wait, purchased this land in, okay, Jesse Hughes was born. So I don't know where that even came from, or who Jesse Hughes is. But I mean, they saying it like we know who this is. But anyways, that makes me wonder if this is someone you should look into even more. So his family went back. Okay, so let's just start over. Jesse Hughes was born in 1767 in Berkeley County, West Virginia, at a young age. His family went back to Chester County, Pennsylvania, I guess, to live with a family. Okay. Long Hunter Jesse Hughes was an early Virginia, Kentucky. Same thing when we're going back to Virginia. We're talking about, we're going back to Virginia. Even we're talking about the Washington family, and some interesting things that I found out about that. In the Washington family in Virginia, which I'm sure links to George Washington's family, but I haven't found that connect. But it was funny to find out that his uh, this man, because I was watching something about slavery, and it was talking about the Black Washingtons or whatever, and their story was very intriguing and sounded very biblical about his one of the women of that plantation named Mary, and she was 14 or 15 when she met. Uh, uh, no, she was 14 or 15 when she married. Um, oh my goodness, what is his name? Washington. I don't think it was Thomas. Uh, Joseph. I think it had something to do with a Joseph. And these were one of the first families. And I look into Virginia, you're talking about the first families of Virginia, which are some of the earliest families. And I don't know, things just, start sounding real funny there. Okay. So Early, okay, was an early Virginia, Kentucky frontiersman, a great hunter, of what, I wonder, and a famous Indian fighter. Hmm. Maybe that just answered my question. Like other famous long hunters, we would have to go ahead and take that and look exactly what this was meaning around that time. Such as Alicia Walden. Now, there's biblical names: Elijah, Alicia, Elisa, um, that are spelt something like this. And also in the Adams family, you have that Elijah. So I don't know, it's very strange. Okay. Henry Skaggs, Thomas Sharp Spencer, uh, Jesse. Okay, Jesse never farmed but hunted exclusively for a living. Okay. Hughes Station in Jefferson County, Kentucky. They traveled up the Salt River. Okay. The Hughes Station is by Abraham Lincoln's grandfather's land. In 1786, Captain Abraham Lincoln migrated to Kentucky from Virginia in 1782. His land on the fork of Floyd's Fork, now called Long Run, was surveyed by William May, okay, surveyor of Jefferson County in 1785. In May 1786, Abraham Lincoln was putting in a crop of corn with his son Josiah, mhm, Mordecai, and Thomas. And something about this reminded me of Esau, being a hunter all his life or whatever. I don't know. But anyhow. But remember that Josiah, Mordecai, and Thomas. Okay? When they were attacked by a small war party, he was killed in the initial volley. Josiah ran to Hughes Station for help. Mordecai and Thomas ran to the cabin, and Mordecai emerged with a rifle in time to kill the Indian who was preparing to scalp his father. Men from Hughes Station pursued. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not, even if they say it's a train station, I'm pretty sure it's some kind of fort or some kind of station where, they were there in order to protect each other from, just in case some things went down. I'm thinking with the Indians is what I'm thinking. Okay. Maybe these star forts and some of these other things that were used. Okay. Pursued the retreating Indians. After this attack, the Lincoln family moved to a part of Nelson County. It also reminds me of a portion in the Bible in the in the Old Testament when somebody ended up was going hunting or going something with their father, and then they accidentally shot somebody and then regretted it. And I'm thinking this has something to do with Cain and the mark. Um, but whatever. We'll this mouse is gonna irritate me. Delve a little bit deeper later. So after the attack, the Lincoln family moved to a part of Nelson County, which later became a part of Washington County. Now, these names don't just get these things for any reason. This can be a very keen clue as to who and what at the time. Okay, the who's and what's of this time. Okay. The estate of Abraham Lincoln Sr. was administered in Nelson County in 1789, and I'm not remembering. So administered. Now are we thinking administration? Because I think it was 1789 or 1798 when we got the first president. I'm thinking it's 89. Okay, which would have been Washington. You get my drift? So Captain Abraham Lincoln was the grandfather of U.S. President Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln was a militia captain during the American Revolution. So now, So then he would have had something. This person would now, in my eyes, be linked some way in some form with something that has something to do with Washington. Okay, so maybe this is why he was administered this land at that time. Okay, because that would have been the first president. Okay, um, so was a militia captain during the American Revolution and a pioneer settler of Kentucky. Captain Abraham Lincoln was a descendant of Samuel. Keep these names. Keep these names in your mind. Samuel Lincoln, 1620. Now that's going way back. This is going because I can't find really any of these families before the 1500. I think 1550 something, if I'm not mistaken, was maybe the oldest that I could trace one of these family lineages back. But yeah. Now I've only really delved into because I think these are the key players: Abraham Lincoln, John Adams, and Washington. Okay, so those are the ones that I have some information obtained in some way of looking at this when I'm talking about these people and the things that they were included in during their time. So again, he was a descendant of Samuel, and notice how they talk about these people in the same sense that we'll talk about someone in the Bible. So 1622, but in the biblical, for some reason, they use, well, we won't go there. Okay, so who was born in Hingham, Norfolk, England? And so, yeah, usually they'll trace back to England. A lot of these people were traced back to Braintree in one of those northeastern states. I don't want to say Massachusetts. I just don't want to say one because I just can't remember, but I know Braintree. A lot of these families stem from that area. Okay. And that's a strange name as well. So Norfolk, England. And then you think Norfolk, Virginia. It's just what I'm thinking of when I said that. So, and who as a weaver apprentice, now we did think, I think there's something about a weaver weaving his web on that dollar bill. Also in the biblical text, in a sense. Okay. Uh, and I don't know if it was pertaining to Satan maybe at the time. I'm not sure. So Weaver's apprentice immigrated to Massachusetts Bay Colony. Now that sounds something like a corporation. I don't know. I'm just thinking colon and how these people are like a parasite on the land. Anyways, but a colony. In 1637, Abraham Lincoln's father, John. So now, okay, wait a minute. Abraham's father, John Lincoln. Okay, so this must be that Abraham, Captain Abraham Lincoln's father. Okay. Yeah, and Samuel might have been his brother or something. Okay, well, one of his family members. Okay, was born in Monmouth County in the province of New Jersey and grew up in Schuylkill River. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end that here. Just so we can shorten up these videos. And I'll just do, I think there's 4 little things that I copied here. So I'll just end here and then we'll continue with the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. And don't forget to go over to the Facebook group where we just share a lot of information that is current and that is very informative for those who are seeking some form of truth about our people. So if you guys want to join us there in American Aborigines Unchained on Facebook, you're welcome to do so. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching and take care. Bye.